Good evening, I'm Chad with Kingdom Tacticians. I'll give you a little rundown on some similarities between some civilian rifles and their military counterparts, which everybody's familiar with the Mini 14, made by Ruger. As it always, the first thing you ever want to do when you pick up a firearm, check to see if it's loaded. We want to pull it back, make sure it's empty. If you can, lock the bolt back. That'll let you know you have a bullet. Visually check the chamber. We will do the same for our M1A, the civilian version of the M14. We are empty and we're ready. The M14 was designed after World War II between the Korea and Vietnam as a replacement for the M1 Garand. They wanted something that could carry more ammo, better rate of fire, and the M14 was military with select fire, means semi-automatic or fully automatic. The civilian version, the M1A, is semi-automatic only. It's a 308, very accurate rifle. A lot of similarities between it and the M1 Garand were almost identical, except for the drop magazine. The action, the sights, the length, I think they were almost all the same. It was a quick changeover from the World War II era to the Korean era, except for the M1A or the M14 was 308 and the Garand was 30-06. Ruger started, they found out about the new contract during the Vietnam War for a new military gun because the 308 was heavy. They started designing the Mini 14 in 1963 or 67. I cannot remember exactly. I know it didn't come out in the civilian market until 1973, I think. But it was in competition with the M16. They took the same action and workings of the M14, the M1A. You can see the real close similarities between the bolt style, the hot rod style, the sights, the characteristics, almost everything was identical. Hence, that's where Ruger came up with the name Mini 14. Now, the original Mini 14 was in 223 or 556. This one is a very old one, hence what they call the pencil barrel. The pencil barrel was not known for its accuracy. It left a lot to be desired. They actually came with a bayonet lug, so you can actually put a bayonet on there. Later on, I think starting serial number 181, 182, somewhere around there, they started putting the heavier weight barrels. Accuracy greatly improved. They introduced the 7.62.39, the Mini 30, and they actually made it in 300 blackout and 6.8 SPC as well, which the common, most popular ones are the 223 and the 7.62.39. The design of the gun is a gas piston gun. It's got a gas piston which fires on a hot rod, which pushes the bolt back, kicks it out, the exact same way that the M1A or the M14 would do. It's a much cleaner design, but the drawback to one reason why they lost out the M16, it's more moving parts, more complicated. You have a lot more moving parts in the gas piston you do in the gas impingement like the M16, so Ruger lost out, so I was told. They're still very great guns, very fun to shoot. My favorite though is the M1A. This one is a copy of the E2. They actually had an M14 E2. This was the squad battle rifle. You had the pistol grip. There was an option to mount a forward hand grip here, so a fully automatic 308 gives you something to hold on to, which it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have fully automatic with a 20-round magazine. You're not going to fire real quick. But luckily, with the design, you can leave your magazine installed and you can reload the magazine with stripper clips to the stripper clip got here. And you could take 10-round strips, slide them in the magazine, drop the bolt, and you're ready to rock. You don't have to worry about carrying a whole bunch of magazines. More magazines, more weight. Stripper clips are less weight. This one's actually the civilian version. Like I said, it's the M2 copy, but it's the M1A Super Match. Very accurate rifle. It belonged to my dad. He shot competition with it. We'll keep between 6 and 8-inch groups at 600 yards with this rifle. You have the National Match front and rear sight. The front sight width is only 50 thousandths wide. The main reason is because the black of the target at 600 yards would be smaller than the front sight. So you had a National Match front sight, so you could actually see the target that you're hitting at that far. The sights were elevation for your range, and then left to right you could do your windage. Don't have a whole lot of recoil, and actually fun to shoot. A standard M1A, I think they call it M1A standard now. They're about $1,400, $1,200 to $1,400 for a 308. The National Match, which I think is a couple $100 more than the Super Match. Super Match will set you back, $2,000 or so. The Mini 14 and the 223 version, probably $700 to $800, which is comparable to a really nice AR-15. The bearing here, the actual roller bearing, that when the bolt comes back, it kicks it up and slides it back. That will need lubrication a little bit, and a little bit of wear on the slide, but you don't have the dirt and the grime and the carbon buildup on the bolt assembly like you do with the AR-15 with the gas impingement system, because no operating gases come through the bolt. It all vents out up here after the short stroke of the piston, kicking the thing back, the gas vents out right here. Like I said earlier, after they made a barrel design change, I want to say in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, they stepped it up. I don't actually have one to show you a comparison between the new and the late model, but this is what they call the pencil barrel. As you can see, it's real small diameter. As it heated up, it moved and it would cause your accuracy problems. Later, they came out with a ranch rifle, which incorporated a scope mount onto the receiver. They make some aftermarket scope mounts for these that's supposed to work, but if you want to put a scope, get a ranch rifle. Really fun to shoot and not too expensive. That's about all I got.